Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez. Dead match. This is a pointless match because Rhea Ripley is going to win. It's going to be a fun match. That feud's been fine. It was, a feud I didn't know I needed, but I think it's actually come too early. Hasn't had enough build. Rhea to win. Moving on. Rey Mysterio versus Austin Theory is actually the hardest match for me to call. This is tricky, this one. Going with my logic earlier from the Becky Trish match of the legends giving the up and comers the rub. LA Knight's a face. I believe that the belt is finally going to go on him. Finally. The 21st century Mr. Kennedy that he is. Not his fault, just booking's fault. So the belt needs to go back on LA Knight, which means you can't really do a face versus face because WWE don't really like doing face versus face matches. I'm going to go with Austin Theory for this one. Give him the belt back, because otherwise this is a pointless match. Like, give him the belt back and then let LA Knight come out and beat Theory for the belt. That's what should happen. Probably won't, and I'm probably going to lose points here, but I'm going to pick Austin Theory. LA Knight versus The Miz. This is always worrying because you just don't know which way WWE are going to book LA Knight. He should already be holding gold as far as I'm concerned. The fact that the US title was put on Rey Mysterio is a joke, and I think further solidifies my standpoint that LA Knight is just not seen as the guy by WWE. Though I would love to be wrong on this, I don't believe that's the case. So, I'm going to say LA Knight will win, but I don't know what he goes on to next. Presumably back in the US title picture, but LA Knight to beat The Miz. Could we actually see all members of the Judgment Day holding gold? I think not. JD McDonough's going to have some type of involvement here. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to retain here. I sadly think we are going to see the Judgment Day fall apart. They shouldn't. I actually think Damian Priest is going to leave them and he's going to become a babyface, and yeah, JD McDonough will probably end up joining the Judgment Day. Priest will go and do his own thing with the briefcase, beat Shinsuke Nakamura, who I've picked to beat Seth Rollins. Yeah, let's go with that. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to retain. Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus. Look, this rivalry has been an interesting one. It hasn't been bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it's obviously going to culminate at Payback this weekend. I've got a bit of a beef with the fact that Trish Stratus was feuding with Becky Lynch, because WWE have definitely righted the ship by having legends now give new stars the rub instead of pushing them back down. But Becky Lynch doesn't need the rub. Becky Lynch is Becky Lynch. She's a made woman. I think what would have been far more interesting is if you'd had Trish feuding with someone like, I don't know, this is going to sound crazy, but Emma or Tegan Nox or Shotzi Blackheart. Why? Because ultimately, if WWE continue down the route of making the new and upcomers beat the legends, how good would Emma, Tegan, or Shotzi look after beating Trish? They'd be solidified as, yeah, we're going to use you now properly. Becky is in very much the same position. Whether she beats Trish or not, she's going to be in the same position she was at before this rivalry. So the rub of the legend hasn't really done anything in this case, in my opinion. Becky's going to win, steel cage match or not. This is the end of the feud. Trish is now going to leave. If she stays around and gives one of the other stars a rub, that's great. Love to see it. They haven't had the best in-ring chemistry. It is what it is. Becky's going to win this. Seth freaking Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. For a number of reasons, big call for me on this match. I would like to believe that Triple H has learnt from his mistakes. Not his mistakes, the company's mistakes. Last time Shinsuke turned heel was when he low-blowed AJ Styles at WrestleMania, having lost the WWE title. He then had, I believe, 3 other world title shots as a heel and lost all of them, which meant the heel turn was pointless. He's now turned heel, and you see where I'm going with this. He's now turned heel, and he's fighting for the world title again. He's gone back to speaking in Japanese, which means they're not making him work outside of his comfort zone. Seth's body is broken, allegedly. I don't know if that's a work or not, but from what I understand, the guy is legitimately injured. Listen, Kenny Omega continued to work injured for a very long time and then lost the title on a big event and then took some time off. Seth Rollins could very easily do the same here. I'm going to make a big call. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going with my heart. Shinsuke Nakamura to win.